Hello, everyone. This is a Donoram monologue podcast. I am, as always, your host, Beau. And today we'll be talking about video games like we always are. And but first, before we talk about video games, I want to talk a little bit about nursing. Our sponsor, Ashley Luann K. You can find her on Instagram. We will provide a link to that. And again, she provides information cradle to grave on nursing. There's information about the education. There's information about what you'll be doing as a nurse when you're working as a nurse, and lifestyle too, which I think is my wife's been a nurse for 5 years, and she finds that aspect of it the most interesting. So please check out Ashley Luann K on Instagram. Links in the description of this video or podcast, whichever one you're listening to. So you guys remember a while ago, we did a series on Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3. We fully plan to go back and do those with our brand new technology and give you guys a better version of those. But if you'll remember, one of the things I mentioned was the ending of Mass Effect ending of Mass Effect 3 was extremely controversial. Fans hated it. I was one of the fans that hated the ending. But what I disliked more than the ending to Mass Effect 3 was that when BioWare received all this hate mail and everything about it, they went and changed it. It was a stupid alteration too, because all it did was give you a hint that Shepard may have survived, which I don't think was our problem. It wasn't my personal problem with the ending to Mass Effect 3, and I don't think it was, if you listen to the podcast, I don't think it was Don's either. The ending was just extremely disappointing in every single way possible, but I hate that they changed it more than that they gave me a bad ending in the first place, because when they go back and change it, that tells me that wasn't, because I can't respect something that wasn't your vision in the first place. So if you go back and change it just because of some pressure from the outside, then I can't believe it ever meant anything to you in the first place. And I'm always of the opinion, there's a huge argument in the epic gamer community, but there's a big argument that people should always give the fans what they want, and I guess that's obvious. You should make a product people want to buy, but therein lies the problem. When we reduce video games to products, we're not looking at them like art, which is precisely what they are. And I think you see that sort of respect and reverence for video games more so with Japanese directors than you do with Western directors. And also you see it more with a handful of European indie developers as well. Video games are art. It's an extremely creative process to make a video game. It's an extremely satisfying process to play through one. Adam just shared with me the other night a post. I don't know if it's Tumblr or what. I don't really do all that stuff, but when someone was like, I can't wait till a video game is respected as much as a novel. If you tell someone that you came home and, gosh, it's just good to curl up with a good book, no one bats an eye. No one thinks that's crazy. But if you tell people that you spent just as much time playing a video game, it's looked down upon. It's frowned upon. The same with television. I can't believe that people think binging The Office is more acceptable than playing a video game for 5 hours straight. I don't understand it. And I've talked about this in the book that we put out. I've talked about this on podcasts in the past, and that is a video game is the only medium of storytelling that can tell that story the way it does. In every other medium of storytelling, you are told what to feel. In a video game, you are made to feel what you feel by the story. A good example I use of this is Resident Evil, the early Resident Evils. Ammo was so scarce that the fear was real. It was actually intense. There was a real feeling of fear in those games. It's something a movie can't necessarily do to you. That's why horror movies rely so much on jump scares, because that's just easier for them to do. So a video game invites you to feel as the character does, whereas everything else tells you to. And that, I think, is the essence of the art of video games. And I've told you all that before. But the reason I bring up that video games are art, and the reason I bring up that I lost a lot of respect for BioWare when they flat out said, this is not our vision. We're just going to pander to you guys and change the ending because y'all hated it. The reason I bring that up is I recently read a book about the making of Kingdom Hearts. I don't want to mention the author. I don't want to mention the book because they're not important here. But this author took time out of his day to sort of pick at Hironobu Sakaguchi. Hironobu Sakaguchi is, of course, the legendary director of the first 5 Final Fantasies, and he had his hand in Final Fantasy all the way up till, I think, a direct hand in it until 11. Correct me if I'm wrong. But, wow. I've had this conversation with people, just an absolute legend, and I've had this conversation with people before, and we're going to get to this. When you do something good for a company you work for, all of that goes away the minute you mess up in the slightest. All of it. If you give yourself a little bit to a company that you work for, they will forget all of it, no matter how great of a sacrifice, no matter how great of a contribution it was, the moment you slip up a little bit. I promise you that will happen every single time. And again, I'm not commenting on the morality of that. Of course, if you're a big wheel at your company and you cost them a ton of money, doesn't really matter what you did for them in the first place when people are going to lose their job or financial well-being because of that. I understand that. I'm not commenting on the morality of it. I'm just saying that's a fact of the matter. So I think Adam's playing Doom 64 here. I kind of like that specific era of first-person shooters. Anyway, I love how you like the stride the guy's taking. It makes it look like he's doing the John Lennon walk. Like you dip so far down and come back up. It's ridiculous. But it makes me think of Dark Forces, the Star Wars game. Legendary game. But Hironobu Sakaguchi was a man cursed with vision. I'll say that. Hironobu Sakaguchi dreamed of making a Final Fantasy movie forever. So after 5, he became a kind of a big wheel over at Squaresoft, and he started calling shots, and he started making moves to make a movie. And it seems now when people in the industry comment on how this is a big mistake by Hironobu Sakaguchi, I get it. These are people in the industry. This is people that work there. They understand that the Final Fantasy movie, and of course I'm talking about The Spirits Within. We all know that risk didn't pay off. The movie company he made in Honolulu, Hawaii went under shortly after it was created. It made one movie, Final Fantasy, The Spirits Within. And he cost Squaresoft a lot of money, and he was demoted for that, and eventually just resigned because a person that supported him greatly in that endeavor was also demoted. Hironobu Sakaguchi thought it was wrong that man take blame for his mistake, so he just resigned from the company. First off, that speaks of a very high nobility, that, hey, it was my mistake. No one else should be punished for it. I will leave. That speaks of a higher nobility than I think you're going to see in a lot of people. But so when people in the industry comment on this, I get it. Like, they're commenting on something that happened in the... I did not know there's part of Doom 64 where you're shooting people in cages. It's literally shooting fish in a barrel. Speaking of morality. But... I think Doom should only teach people good lessons about life. But what's weird is, what brought this up? I saw a video on YouTube the other day where it was like a 17-minute video. It was a thumbnail of Cloud from the Final Fantasy VII Remake, and it said, "Why Tetsuya Nomura is a hack director." Guys, it's a question of staying in your lane. Like, there's a difference between criticism and just being like, OMG, this sucks. Like, you don't I see Hironobu Sakaguchi being drugged a lot for this decision by people that don't know fully what they're talking about. They weren't there. They don't know all the ramifications of everything that went into it. They don't know the whole story. I don't know the whole story. It's ridiculous that someone that gifted, he didn't have to make Final Fantasy. He didn't have to give us all those games. And I understand that he got paid very well for what he did, but he could have just made a crappy game like everyone else was making and make money off of it. Like, I guess what I'm trying to get at is these people don't owe you anything. Like, they don't owe specifically what you want. Like, I don't understand. Criticism should be a very deep analysis of something. It should be an intellectual breakdown of something. You should be weighing the pros and cons. You should be using as much objective data as possible, not just saying it sucks. Like, am I supposed to take a YouTube video that's only 17 minutes long, saying this guy that's made a dozen games that are beloved the world over is a hack, and I'm supposed to take that seriously. I don't understand it at all. But the thesis of this is obviously I'm trying to make a defense for Hironobu Sakaguchi, but I'm just trying to video game journalism is just really, really bad at the moment. Like do you remember when the Hot Topic kids in junior high went around and be like, NSYNC sucks? You're like, why do they suck? They're like, because we don't like that music. Like it's not a fair assessment. That's not. No, don't say that. NSYNC, of course, sucks because Lance Bass did not have enough leads as much as Timberlake did. That was the real crime of NSYNC. But no, I just and please, fans, if Donneram denigrates itself to such a low level, please let us know in the comments. But no, I really wish there was objective criticism. I mean, I want video games to be observed the way people do film. I want it to be criticized the way people do novels. And there are a lot of people that do. There are, but it's ridiculous for people to just be like, this sucks, and that just be it. I remember a long conversation I had when Star Wars Battlefront 2, the new ones came out. I had a very long conversation with a friend named Adam that produces this podcast. I had a long conversation with him about it, and I was very surprised at him because he's not this kind of guy at all, but he was telling me not to buy it because it sucks. And I was like, well, why does it suck? And he's like, because Reddit says so. That is what you said. Shut up. That is what you said. Well, he's not on the podcast at the moment, so he can't. I mean, it's my word against his, and who are you going to believe? Guys, let's please see some objectivity in your analysis of video games. They deserve that much. They are the highest art form of the 20th or any other century. That's the one you should use. But anyway, guys, like, share, subscribe, but more importantly, May 31st, the finale of Xenogears, the moment you all been waiting for. Remember the Seinfeld finale? The polar opposite of that. This rocks. This is going to be like the best thing you've ever heard in your life. And even if it isn't, just give us 1,000 downloads on the podcast. Give us 1,000 likes on the YouTube. If either one is hit, I will quit my job and play Xenosaga 1 through 3 on stream. Or if we can't make the stream, I'll at least put up an LP on YouTube. I will do that. I will go through all 3 of them, like 300 hours of games, just for you guys, with the unique Donneram perspective that I know you love. And you guys are like, what's in it for me? Well, it costs you nothing to like or download, so you've got nothing but to gain. Now, if both goals are met, I will do so in cosplay. Cosplay chosen by you, YouTube. And I shot myself in the foot with what I said last time, so I'm not going to say anything else. But absolutely, the May 31st episode of Xenogears, the finale, where we finally find out what happened to Big Joe, which is the question on everyone's mind. Please, 1,000 likes or 1,000 downloads or a special bonus if you do both. Thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll see you next time.